what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it and give this video a like.
Podcast below in the description as well. Check that out. Subscribe. Share it with your friends.
All right, John, we have news to share. On Saturday, Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington reported that Tom Brady's retiring from football after 22 extraordinary seasons. Multiple sources tell Jeff Darlington and me. But as Mike Evans was tweeting at Tom Brady congratulating him, Jason Light was saying he hasn't heard anything yet. And Tom Brady Sr. told Cron 4 News in the Bay Area that his son is not retiring. He says an online publication started circulating an unsubstantiated rumor. However, a number of NFL insiders are now reporting it. So that is, as you watch this video, that is where it all stands.
You got to love the old guy who goes back to the well of just like local news. You know, Cron 4 reaches out. You know, Brady's people are talking to Darlington, ESPN, Schefter, the Wojs. Senior just goes right to Cron. You know, is Radnich around? Listen,
I'm calling on Gary's private line.
I think it's pretty clear. You know, the clock is ticking, and Tom is, you know, leaning this way. Does he want to do it on his own? One thing I go back to is Jeff Darlington was all over his move to Tampa.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty clear that Darlington is boys with some of Tom's boys, you know, whoever that may be. And, you know, I think it's, you know, whether it becomes official whenever TB12, the Twitter account, tweeted out something, and then they deleted it. You know, they did one of these, you know, basically thanks and then a delete. That could have been an intern, you know, but I think, you know, I'm prepared, and I really was after earlier this week. I don't know about you, that I don't think we're ever going to see Tom Brady playing football again.
Yeah, this Saturday makes me feel like it's much less likely that he plays than that he doesn't. And I started feeling that way after the Lock and 4 report a few days ago. I felt that way immediately after the game. I don't know if I would say, I don't know what my percentage would have been, but that game feels to me like a perfect way to end a career. And I know you could say, well, a perfect way to end a career is to win a championship or to have played for the 49ers, which kind of holding it against Kyle right now. But that game also kind of felt like a perfect way, because most times you don't get to just walk off after a Super Bowl championship. The fact that they came back in that game, that I don't want to be cheesy here, but like that he had this sort of honorable comeback that just came up short, but there was honor in the competition of almost pulling it off, right? If I'm going to use like some sappy movie script for it. I thought it was a good way to end, in the sense that they lost, but it wasn't ripped away from them. That in fact, the comeback was kind of a win in and of itself.
Didn't lose like, you know, 40-7 or something.
Yeah. And also wasn't leading 23-7 and then blew the lead or something like that. That would be hard to retire. It did feel like he was kind of at peace after the whole thing. He won his championship in Tampa. He proved what he had to prove, winning without Bill. He is 44, as you pointed out on the podcast, will be 45 to beginning of next season. I kind of felt like that number was out there for him to chase, but I also could see how the family, the kids, you win the championship in Tampa, you get away from Bill for a couple of years, and the priorities change a little. And you go, I don't need to play till I'm 46 to prove who to what. I'm a 5-time Super Bowl MVP. There's nothing left to, you know, there's no, because to me, maybe some of it was about proving to others. Maybe it was about proving to himself. I wonder if Tom's lost his chip a little bit, you know?
I do think the moment he won the championship away from New England, everything else was going to be gravy from then on out. You know, I'm not saying he wasn't going to try to stack them up, but once he got that, it did. And clearly after they played this year, I think it was week 4, and there was that story where Bill and Tom spent like an hour together in a room alone after the game. Like, their relationship, I think, is not as crazy as many people imagine. But I think the competition in both of them, it was to prove what they could do separate from each other, just like any, you know, 20-plus year relationship would be, professionally or personally. And Tom validated it immediately. You know, I think he was playing with house money in Tampa from the moment this season started, and he had, statistically, I think, one of his best seasons ever. You know, PFF did this thing where they, like, you know, in their final season, it was like Brady, Roethlisberger, you know, all the guys, just all these star players from over the years, where they ranked in the league. It was like 28th, 30th. Tom was 1. Now, we can argue, you know, whether was he better than Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen, all these guys. He was fantastic this season. And he's still, like, he does not need to retire. To me, that's what's pretty cool about it, is like he could clearly, like, Peyton didn't have a choice, right? We saw it. Peyton was done. Even Roethlisberger, like, holding on for dear life. And I give Roethlisberger credit, right? He knew it. He had no choice. Like, you got to go. And he did. I'm announced my retirement. I can see Tom, like, kind of goes back and forth. Like, I can still play.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like he's only got one more bullet in the gun. It feels like he's got a couple years left.
I mean, he was a top 2 or 3 quarterback this season. You don't usually just go to that to, like, being 30th, right?
I wonder if it'd be harder for him to retire after winning a championship, because you think, well, I could win another one. Maybe it's a little easier to walk away from the title when you're a little further from it.
In turmoil, too. The team was kind of, out of sorts, I would say.
Yeah,
injuries.
Yeah. Yep.
Bunch of free agents, I think they have.
So I'm gonna miss him. Like, we'll have time once as the week goes on to talk more about it. But I didn't want Tom to retire. I really didn't. I think he is. I mean, it's like watching the end of Jordan's career and wanting more Jordan. And then we got more Jordan. We were like, no, we didn't need more Jordan. Jordan on the Wizards, we didn't need. But this wasn't that.
No.
It wasn't even physically. He was better than Montana. Montana had been broken, and Montana had been. People had retired Montana like 3 other times before Montana, and credit to him, he kept going. But I didn't.
We were having dinner yesterday. The game against the Rams was on. We were watching it. He made a play on like the second drive where it's like he looks better than 80% of the quarterbacks moving around in the pocket.
He looked really good. Jumped around, stepped up, and hit Gronk over the middle. So I'm gonna miss him, man. He is one of the main characters in all of our favorite movies. So from that sense, I hate it from that sense, and it does feel like that's where it's headed. It would be a major upset at this point if Tom Brady played another season.
Godspeed.